The then SABC chairperson went as far as taking the National Assembly to court in an attempt to frustrate or delay this House from exercising its constitutional obligation. Speaker, in an unprecedented act of defiance of the Constitution and the rules of the National Assembly, the then chairperson, accompanied by executive management of the SABC, walked out of a parliamentary committee session and went out to tell South Africa and the world that the work of the ad hoc committee and by extension the work of the National Assembly was tantamount to a kangaroo court. Honourable members, it is our view that the National Assembly and indeed Parliament can never again allow this level of undermining to reoccur. Speaker, at its 53rd conference, the ANC resolved that a stable corporate governance mechanism is required to provide long-term stability. This includes strengthening the SABC's accountability to Parliament, to the shareholder, and to the public, and that the public ownership of the SABC is central to its existence and its sustainability. Speaker, in the 4 years since this resolution was adopted, we have seen at least 3 SABC boards, at least 4 Group Chief Executive Officers. In this period, the SABC has been plagued by many challenges, including divisions at board level. Human resource management and compliance with policy is almost non-existent, as can be seen by the high number of CCMA and Labour Court challenges that the SABC has faced and lost at a very high cost. Members, this leadership instability has a direct bearing on the demise of good corporate governance within the institution. As can be seen in the Auditor General report, irregular expenditure amounting to 5.1 billion rand and fruitless and wasteful expenditure of 92.8 million indicates the extent of the problem. As we stand here today, Madam Speaker, the SABC has an acting Chief Executive Officer, an acting Chief Financial Officer, and an acting Chief Operating Officer. This state of affairs cannot be allowed to continue. Speaker, the SABC must have a credible accounting authority, which is in line with the Public Broadcasting Act, the Public Finance Management Act, and the Companies Act. The ad hoc committee recommends that the process of appointing an interim board and eventually a permanent board must be expedited. Honourable Speaker and members, the Bill of Rights in Section 16 guarantees freedom of expression, which includes freedom of the press and other media, as well as freedom to receive or impart information and ideas. The services expected of the SABC are at the very center of our constitutional democracy. And as a public broadcaster, the SABC is the supreme vehicle through which the very important provisions as enshrined in our Bill of Rights must become reality, enjoyed and experienced by all South Africans. Honourable members, significant entry barriers remain in place in the commercial broadcasting sector. Efforts to regulate the sector, to enforce effective competition has not produced the desired results. It is recommended by the ad hoc committee that any SABC contract that seeks to do business with its competitors must be reviewed. Speaker, the SABC has a footprint that covers every corner of the country and is accessible to South Africans from every walk of life, the majority of whom are the working class and the lower income groups, including pensioners and the aged, both black and white. With this as a background, we raise serious concerns around the fact that the 24-hour news channel and the ENCO channel are only available on pay TV. This has the effect of excluding many South Africans on the basis of affordability. The SABC is a national asset and also a national key point, and therefore must at all times be managed by competent and appropriately skilled women and men who are adequately vetted in order to mitigate against obvious state security exposure. Speaker, those given the task and responsibility of managing this very important asset on behalf of South Africans must be beyond reproach and must be held to the highest level of accountability. Finally, Speaker and honourable members, this inquiry took place with maximum transparency. It took place with absolute fairness and consistency. Of course, Speaker and honourable members, like in all aspects of life, there will be those who support the product of this ad hoc committee, and likewise, there will be those that criticize or reject our report. Notwithstanding the criticism, we take solace from the words uttered from this very podium on the 26th of March 1999 during his farewell speech to Parliament. Madiba said, and I quote, "I would like to take this opportunity to pay tribute to all parties represented in this Parliament for their contribution to the progress we have made. Though we have our differences, often important and sometimes profound, we have as a collective demonstrated our overriding commitment to the new order that we have together established. We have ensured that this Parliament is no rubber stamp in the hands of government and given birth to a new democratic political culture," close quotes. Madam Speaker, the ad hoc committee remained true to the sentiments echoed by President Mandela. And with that, on behalf of the ad hoc committee, we table the report published on the 27th of February for your consideration and adoption. I thank you.